What's poppin', people? It's Dante. Just wanted to show you a location here in Philadelphia where I like to practice my street photography in low light situations. And sometimes on the weekends or certain times of the day when the Reading Terminal Market is packed with people for lunch rush or dinner, yeah, you can get a lot of high energy in here. But yeah, I just wanted to showcase an opportunity to practice in low lights on the streets. You know, it's something a bit more challenging. So what I do is I switch my Ricoh to P mode and just go to about +1 or +0.7 on the exposure comp, and I'll just snapshot through here and just throw the camera around. And you know, it's kind of easy when you have a camera that goes into automatic mode. You know, when you're in a low light situation, I think it's best to just throw it in automatic, right? It's like less decisions to make, more shooting to take, right? Less thinking, just shooting kind of thing. Yeah, I like just shooting around here and just seeing what I can do. You know, people are eating or sitting on the tables and stuff, and what I can do is just kind of like feint my Ricoh to the left or the right of me. Sometimes I'll go to like adjust the strap to like quickly snap a candid without getting noticed. You know, there's different games that you can play with the Ricoh, which I find to be fun in a stealthy approach where, yeah, it's really easy to go unnoticed in these low light environments, especially around a lot of people. You know, despite, you know, the intimate sort of closeness and proximity that you will have to the people, it's kind of easy to get away with it. And so when you're practicing street photography, just practically, I think having the closest focus distance possible is important for me. So like just challenging myself to get closer. And so I either put the snap focus when I'm in here to 1 meters, you know, 2 meters is where I typically have it throughout the day. But trying to get closer and closer is nice. You know, where if I see a gesture, if I see a hand, I'll switch to single point autofocus. Try to like quickly lock on by clicking this FN button and then photographing at that close proximity. I guess the one thing I wish for the Ricoh is that they were to implement a snap focus distance that's closer to like macro mode, so that, you know, if I wanted to photograph the skin or the nails or the details, that I could just throw the camera around spontaneously and snap that focus, maybe even 0.25 meters. Like, I don't know what the distance exactly would be, but I just think that would be pretty epic. Because I do want to get closer and closer. And I think that the Reading Terminal Market, you know, places like this, they just allow you to get closer to the subjects and the people in the environments. And so, yeah, now I just kind of head out. I usually do like a lap, you know, like it's just a part of my routine. I'm just showing you my routine, right? Kind of my route, if you will, where I pop in here, head back towards Market Street, kind of bask in the light. And then you can crush the background out with some nice shadow area back here in the tunnel. As people peer in and out of the tunnel and walk around, you can post up on either one of these corners and photograph people as they come out. Got the classic Reading Terminal sign right here. Yeah, so it's pretty nice actually, where you can just kind of either be outside or be inside. Perfect backdrops too, not much distractions. And yeah, it's really easy to just candidly snapshot around here. Lots of tourists and stuff. And so, yeah, from here, I will... There's lots of people coming this way. Nice follow intuition. Yeah, I like coming this way. I get these two people who could switch quickly to vertical. Yeah, with the Ricoh, I go from horizontal to vertical, just kind of like tilting the camera with my wrist, kind of just quickly snapshotting with the middle finger on the shutter. Yeah, you can kind of just rotate the camera like so. You know, where you would imagine like, oh, let me do a vertical, let me, you know, adjust my camera. But with the Ricoh, you kind of just, you know what I mean? You can kind of articulate it in these more nuanced ways that I really like when I'm photographing. So yeah, there's the snapshot I just made actually right there as those people were coming out. You know, while this photograph is kind of banal and mundane, you know, there's magical things that happen that are really spontaneous, right? Where I'm not predicting anything. I'm not like looking at life and imagining what the photo is going to be like, but I'm more so just asking myself this question, right? What will reality manifest to be in a photograph? You know, where the results I receive are merely... Oh, this guy's going crazy. Well, anyways, there's just like a little hand that just popped out of the left-hand corner, and it's just kind of like, oh, like that's something different. Not that it's like anything special, but the point is to kind of like let go, photograph loosely, and just let the chips fall as they may, right? Be playful, sort of just get in and out. You know, most of the times I'm making one snapshot and moving on, you know, with these kind of like, I'll call this like sidewalk surfing, you know, like that old school like skating, right, where you're just sidewalk surfing. It's kind of like that, where you're kind of just running and gunning, one and done, just taking one shot and moving on. Those good places to catch music, not to mention the Wanamaker, Oregon's just nearby. So yeah, this is usually one of my favorite spots towards sunset. You can see this big wide open sidewalk. You know, the beauty of photographing here is because of the wide open sidewalk, where we have this really large promenade, Market Street, you know, Broad Street, these certain locations in the city where you can increase the chances of you making something. I think that when you're in a tight sidewalk, it becomes a little bit more difficult to compose. However, with backdrops like this, you know, where you can see the columns and they're looming down and they're going down, and there's like this pattern and this repetition and shadow play and people coming in and out, you know, you can make photographs of silhouettes. You can get, you know, people's gestures coming in and out of this patch of light. I even sometimes come into the, I actually go in here, and what I'll do is I'll photograph people as they come in and out of the doors, and sometimes you get interesting moments, interesting gestures and stuff that's like in a low light situation, right? So yeah, you can go inside the tunnel, you can go outside here. Like, the point is to just keep moving, right? Like when I'm photographing, I'm moving around. You know, I kind of just photograph quickly and move on. And I like to go into different environments, right? So I like to be inside, I like to go outside, I like to be inside the doorway. You know, sometimes I can even just post up like and lean up against this if I wanted to fish around and wait for people to come into the patch light, and then look to the left of me as people come out of the doorway. And you can get some, like, there's some like nice mundane gestures of people opening doors, and there's always a flow of traffic, especially if there's a convention, when photographing in these particular locations. And you know, I think the point is to kind of stick to a route and just run with it, and sort of embrace the repetition, the monotonous nature of going out there and practicing each day, you know, just like seeing what, you know, working with what you got, right? Just treating the streets as a canvas, you know, photographing inanimate objects, photographing people, gestures, buildings, you know, not really limiting yourself. Also photographing in different directions, right? Where if I face this way and people are lit from the sun that way, this backdrop, all the shadows become crushed, and it just provides this beautiful stage as people walk in and out. And yeah, I just enjoy it. Sometimes I'll shoot towards the sun, so walking this way, I'll increase my exposure compensation to +2, and I'll simply point and shoot. And you know, this is something a little bit more challenging, but with the Ricoh it makes it easier because of this exposure compensation dial, right? I have everything set to automatic mode, currently in AV mode, shutter priority. And yeah, you can move around, you can go from corner to corner if you'd like, right? Just cross over the sidewalk here and go into the shade. You know, I typically enjoy being in the light. I feel like the light is just more beautiful. But what I'll do is I'll loop back towards City Hall over there. I'll hit up the tunnels. I like walking through the tunnels because there's consistent soft light, and the way that people peer in and out of the tunnel, move through the tunnel, to me it's the best place to practice street photography in the city of Philadelphia. And I'm just always interested in the photographs I make there. I think there's something about the light itself and the consistency of the light. So it just becomes that perfect stage, you know, where I can consistently make a photograph that I deem to be beautiful, to be honest. And I like to increase my chances of making a successful picture, so I'll basically revisit these same locations over and over again. And you know, I'll snap a vertical here. It's actually really beautiful. Just to the left of me, right? So when you hold the camera, you can hold the camera like this, right? And you can snap to the left of you, right? And you can see the LCD screen on the side, right? So I can get I can kind of gauge. And again, this is what I'm going for, these kind of high contrast scenes where I illuminate a subject in the light. Just really mundane kind of stuff. Just, you know, crushing the shadows and making the aesthetics beautiful, and making them, to me, evoke the sublime, this sort of aesthetic that goes beyond beauty. There's something about the way in which a high contrast black and white small JPEG file from the Ricoh renders that transcends the world, right? It's not necessarily a depiction of reality, but it's an abstraction of it. And so, yeah, by photographing this way, I'm always surprised by the photographs that I make, and I enjoy this, as I'm currently detached from the outcome pretty much completely, where I really don't care about the photographs, but I'm just enjoying the process of going out there, exploring, walking, moving. You know, for at the end of the day, the goal of a photographer, right, a goal of an artist, right, that's working in the streets should simply be to be moving your 2 feet, to be moving your legs. And the more that you move your legs, the more things that you will see. And the more things that you will see, yeah, the more things that you will inevitably photograph and find along your way, right? So the journey, you know, embracing the walk, embracing the process, to me, this is the beauty of photography, right? It's the art of production. It's consistently making better or new work, and not necessarily worried about making better work, right? So forget about what makes a photograph good or bad, but consider your next photograph as your best photograph. And the stream of becoming and that flow state is the place that you want to be, just constantly working on the streets, right, wherever you may be. And so, yeah, I'd say that's the beauty of a compact camera, because it can just fit in your front right pocket like this, you know, just close it up, fold it up, put it in your pocket, you're good to go. Here we have City Hall, standing tall. This is the Wanamaker building, the Macy's, where I listen to the organ. Yeah, I could say that's my muse, that's my inspiration. Listening to the music, looking up at this beautiful organ, this architecture, the details, the sculptures, the plaques, the different ornaments and things that are draping on the walls. You know, there's so many beautiful places that you can visit in Philadelphia and in my hometown here that inspire me, that don't have to necessarily come from a photo book or come from the world of photography or, you know, an art museum, a gallery, but to just walk through your city and find inspiration in the details of it, right? Whether it's these columns, you know, or even the stories and the heroes like Benjamin Franklin and his sculpture there, and, you know, thinking of his impact on philosophy and his innovations and inventions inspire me, right? These columns, these stairwells, all of the detail of this building, it just inspires me, right? It breathes fresh air into my soul and it uplifts me. And yeah, when I come into this building each and every day, it just reminds me of the beauty and impact of art and how it can stand the test of time, right? Where this building, City Hall, it just stands so tall, and it's just, to me, one of the most beautiful aspects of the city of Philadelphia is these 4 tunnels, right? This compass in the center, this center of town that orients yourself, right? Where I can turn down Broad Street now, you know, I can go up Market West here or Broad Street North. You have this sort of compass that directs you, these 4 tunnels, and, you know, people are just always going to be going through those tunnels in a funnel. And that's my best and that's my favorite place to photograph, right? Or it's in these tunnels, it's in this building, and yeah, I just find it to be so inspiring. And it's always nice to photograph here and just find myself cooling off, you know, in the shade on these hot summer days. But yeah, I'd say that finding a route, finding a way to move in your city that works best for you is critical. You know, I hit up the same spots pretty much each and every day, and I just wanted to share just a random little bit of my process, a bit of my walk. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. You can see the way that the light, see how it's a soft, consistent light that casts upon people. You know, it's just always beautiful aesthetically, and that's something I'm looking for, is this beautiful light, the appreciation for light, sort of returning to the basics of what a photograph is, painting with light, writing with light, creating an instant sketch of light, an instant sketch of life. And these tunnels certainly provide me with that light and that shadow. And yeah, I find it to be the best place. You know, there's just always people coming through, there's always something to do, there's always something to see, and I just admire the beauty of this building. Not to mention this architecture on Broad Street. For instance, we have this mini Pantheon replication over there, which I love, and yeah, it just reminds me of Rome. And these beautiful buildings just amaze me every single day, despite walking this same mundane lane every single day. I know that I will always find something to uplift in a photograph.